sit back and relax, educate and inform. Cozy conversations, drop the knowledge that's for real. Indigo Studio, always in the know. With Hermine Hartman, you'll be enlightened. Up and up we grow.
Welcome to Indigo Studio. This is a very special segment. We're going to talk about community theater. I want to tell you a story about somebody that I know you know, and that was a young Sidney Poitier. He found a newspaper ad in the Amsterdam News. That was the black newspaper in New York. And he saw an ad, and it said, looking for actors for the Negro Theater Ensemble. It was a community theater. And he went for the first time. He was rejected, but he went back. He didn't stop, and he got accepted. Well, the rest is just history. Like Sidney, many actors, many careers in theater, in show business really, start at the community theater level. It's where it starts. They go to Hollywood, they go to Broadway.
100 years ago, Bronzeville was known as the Black Metropolis. Our neighborhood featured some of the world's greatest nightclubs and entertainment venues like the Savoy, the Regal Theater, and the Sunset Cafe. Now the dream is to use our legendary creative assets to bring back the glory of Bronzeville and create generational spiritual wealth in our Black community through the Bronzeville Renaissance Project. Our first installation is the Lillian Marcy Center for the Performing Arts, located at 4343 South Cottage Grove, in honor of my mother and my closest mentor. The center will lead the mission to restore and secure the artistic legacy of Bronzeville. This state-of-the-art performance center will be the capital of Black American performance culture, and we will preserve the sanctity of the past and the present while launching the legacy of Black excellence into the future. Our anchor tenant and community partner will be the African American Museum for the Performing Arts, or AMPA, a repository of Black performance arts excellence. Together, we will offer audiences and artists alike the highest level of professional aesthetics and provide a home for the other smaller Black arts institutions in our community. Our home is that the Lillian Marcy Center will spark the interest of the community and local government to invest in the rebirth of Bronzeville. The Lillian Marcy Center represents the heartbeat and pulse of the Bronzeville Renaissance Project. Let's rebuild Bronzeville, one block at a time.
So today we want to talk about what is really a renaissance in Chicago, on the South Side, about community theater.
Cozy conversations, drop the knowledge that's for real.
Tyrone Patton, she is the co-founder with Harry Lennox of a new theater, African American Museum of the Performing Arts, that is going to open on 43rd and Cottage Grove. She's formerly the executive director of the Congo Square Theater. And then we have Tyrone Phillips, who is a bright new face, a hot new face, the Chicago Tribune says, and he is the co-founder and artistic director at the Definition Theater, and he is building from the ground up where the Persian ballroom used to be. So you got some work to do. And then we're going to talk to Dr. Yvonne Wellborn. She's an award-winning filmmaker, the founder of Sisters in Cinema, and she's opening up the Center for Black Media Excellence in South Shore. So you all gonna start down Cottage and just
gonna
keep
work
on
our way
moving.
around, exactly.
And then my dear friend, Chuck Smith. He's the Dean of Chicago Theater, Residence Director at the Goodman Theater, and also a board member. And he's the award-winning director and has produced all of August Wilson's plays in Chicago. And he just received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Joseph Jefferson Lifetime Achievement Award. Chuck, congratulations, because that's hot and that's new. So, Tehran, tell me about your theater and what you're going to do, what the plans are.
All righty. Well, so Harry Lennox, which you all know Harry. Harry and I started talking about this about maybe 5 years ago. But the AMPA, which is the African American Museum of the Performing Arts, is the museum segment of what it is that we're doing. It's a bigger project. It's called the Bronzeville Renaissance Project, which is the entire thing, and we're in phase 1 of it, which is the museum, which is AMPA, but then also the Lillian Marcy Center, which is at 4343 South Cottage Grove.
Named after Harry's mother.
Named after Harry's mother. That's the heartbeat. Like if you want to think of it as a body, that's where everything's going to come out. That's the pumping. A lot of it has to do with the artistic excellence of Bronzeville, right? It just makes sense, right? Because 100 years ago, Bronzeville was the mecca, as you want to say, a theater hub of where everybody came from around the world. And so that legacy of artistic excellence we want to restore that in the community, and we want to do it in Bronzeville.
So we're going to have a museum adjacent to theater.
So the theater, and then there's the museum, and then there's some other stuff that's going to go around, but I don't want to get us off track. But it's more than, this is phase 1. And then we got 7 phases. I'm just gonna say that.
7 phases.
Seven
All
phases.
Right. And they will open will they open all
No,
together?
not simultaneously. So phase 1, so 2024, the Lillian Marcy, is we are gonna be breaking ground, and that's gonna be first. That's where we're gonna start. And then AMPA, which has been started, we started AMPA in 2020, is really dedicated to the memorization and the presentation of the contributions of Black performers and Black excellence in the world, right? But looking at it through the lens of the artist. We have a lot of institutions around the world. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but we don't have anything that is looking at it from the artist's point of view. And not only that, there are a lot of other shoulders other than the famous people that everybody knows. We are standing on the shoulders of a lot of other people. And those stories are not going to be told because they're not, like you said, Hollywood, they're not, but in Chicago in particular, there is a foundation that shoulders of who I'm standing on. Here's one of them. But their stories need to be told, and it's nobody else's responsibility to tell those stories but us. So Harry Lennox and I decided to start the African American Museum of the Performing Arts. And it's going to be the anchor tenant of the Lillian Marcy. So we are going to archive, we are going to provide residencies for Black arts institutions where they will be able to perform in a state-of-the-art theater, but we're going to customize those residencies to those institutions where they are to help them to become and be bigger. One of the biggest problems, I know you all know this, in theater is always space, right? Where are you going to be, or where's your home? And it's hard to be an itinerant theater. And yet a lot of our African American theaters, small and mid-sized, are itinerant. They don't have a home. So that is why and we, of course, where else better to be, because we both from the South Side, right? So we both were like, it has to go back to that, because the generations that are coming behind us, a lot of people complain that they go other places. Well, they don't know. And they're not being taught that. And so there needs to be a repository for the world to know what Black performers and what Black people have given to the legacy and the landscape of theater in this nation.
That's fantastic.
And so we're going to do that globally. So that's where we're starting with the theater, and then with the museum, and then all the other phases, which is the Bronzeville Renaissance Project. It's the studio.
Okay, so you're going to keep that from us. I'm
going to hold that one, because, for now.
So Tyrone, how did you get involved in theater?
Yeah, well, I first found my creative partners. We started Definition Theater at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. So I got started in high school, actually. I walked into a black box theater. I didn't know what it was or what was happening in that room, but I said, this is really nice, and I want to be a part of whatever this is. So once I realized it was theater, I realized I was also an actor first. So I got my start as an actor on stage, and then I was a senior at University of Illinois, and I found myself one day stuck in conversation and watching a conversation between a director and a lighting designer. And I was like, what is that about? Why am I?
What's a lighting design?
See, exactly. Right, what is going on? So I said, I have opinions about the world that the play is in, not just my one role. And so for me, it was kind of scary, because I said, I want to be a director. Here I am about to graduate with an acting degree, but I want to direct, I think. And then that actually spun into something else. We started a show and had to produce our own show, because we saw the season of Cranard Center, and we didn't see a show where we thought it was a thesis project. We were a lot of kids from Chicago, all over, Southwest, and we were classically trained. We can do the sword fighting, we can do all these things, but there was no show that actually asked us to put all those skills together. And so we produced The Brother Size by Academy Award winner Terrell Alfred McCraney. That was our first show as an organization. And that show we were drawn to that show because it was about our African gods on stage. We weren't playing criminals or police officers. It was poetry. We were in the round. We had music and dance incorporated. So once we realized that, okay, we saw it was easy to actually, have people of color on stage. When you look backstage at the lighting designer, at the scene designer, or at the director, we're not there. And so our mission quickly became to make sure the next generation knows that you don't have to be an actor. You can also have another job that will give you a salary, that you can have a family and be creative, right? So for us, that was the main thing to stick to, and our mission now is to make sure the next generation just knows it's possible to have a career in the arts.
That's fantastic. And with the theater on the South Side, you will attract a whole new phase.
Oh, we're excited.
You should be.
Cozy conversations, drop the knowledge that's for real. Indigo Studio.
How dependable is your power? As dependable as 2 a.m. wake-up calls. Grandpa showing up an hour early. And perfect timing. Because you can count on ComEd to keep the lights on and keep you informed. So your electric service is as dependable as sleepless nights.
In all of Chicago, there's no place like Wicked.
So if you care to find me, look to the western sky.
Don't miss your chance to defy gravity at the Nederlander Theater from September 28th through December 4th. NBC Nightly News calls it the most successful Broadway show ever. Visit BroadwayInChicago.com to get Wicked.
Our goal is to see you become effective leaders
to support your passions
and help your community. So whether you're pursuing an undergraduate degree or transferring from another school, our goal
is to see you accomplish yours.
Cozy conversations, drop the knowledge that's for real.
Dr. Wellborn, you've got 6 programs, not 1, but 6. And when I read about the news program, I actually got excited. Tell me about these programs that you're doing at the Cinema Theater.
Well, thank you for asking about that. So our kind of flagship program, well, let me just step back for a second. We have workforce development programs where we actually pay people to learn a craft. And then we have community connections programs where people from the community can come in and learn for free. So with our workforce development programs, the first one's called the Documentary Fellows Program, and it's for emerging filmmakers who want to learn about how to tell our stories. And emerging, I think our youngest emerging person this year is 55, so you don't have to be 22.
That's your youngest one?
Our youngest emerging person.
Okay.
I mean, our oldest emerging person. I said that wrong. Anyway, she's like, I'm just emerging at 55. So anyone,
right.
We are open for, this is intergenerational, this is for everyone. The second program is the Learn and Earn program for high school students, and it is our newsroom program. And that's the one I think you're a little excited about. We've been working with high school students on the south side of Chicago. Our third program is called Sister Social. It's a networking program for women, so we primarily serve women and gender nonconforming media makers. So Sister Social is for folks who work in the industry to get together, share bonds, connect, and learn more about advancing their careers. We have in our community connect, and that's one of our community connections programs. Another one is called Sister Outsider. It started off as a violence intervention program where we were trying to bring people together to walk in South Shore. And what we did was we hired community members to serve as docents. So they're storytellers, and they're telling the story of South Shore as we walk along the 75th Street corridor.
Fantastic.
And we would always stop at the Media Arts Center and see how we're doing. You know, they were watching the construction Okay. And it was really interesting. One of the docents stopped and said, you know what, let's take a moment and everybody put your hand on this building and say, speak into existence what this place can be. So we started doing that every walk. You know what I mean? People would say, you know.
So now you open.
Well, we're planning to open. We are planning to open in March of 2023. So we've been, we bought this building. It's on 75th Street. And we've been under construction for a while, so y'all know. And we got a final date from our general contractor. We're almost done. So we're planning to open next year.
Okay. Dean, Mr. Dean, Chuck Smith, who's just done fantastic things, but started in community theater. So Chuck, you are the Dean of Chicago Community Theater. Tell me the importance of community theater. Why in the first place?
Well, it's important, as you've already stated, mainly because it's where you learn the craft. You actually get into the nuts and bolts of being a professional in community theater. You mentioned Harry Lennox. Harry Lennox got his union card at a play from a company that I started with 3 other brothers called the Chicago Theater Company on 67th and Eberhart at the Parkway Community House in a basement theater. And he portrayed the role of Malcolm X in a play called The Meeting. And from there, you know, we see where he is at now. But that's where he first got his professional start. But so it's quite important. But,
very important.
But the beautiful thing about what these 3 are doing is that not only are they starting a company, they own the ground that they're on. And that's quite unique. That's not something that happens all of the time. In fact, it rarely happens. And with the 3 of them, Chicago's going to be totally in the lead of arts organization, theaters that own their own space, because we now have Jackie Taylor owns her theater on Beacon on the north side. ETA on the south side owns theirs, and we got 3 more coming.
And Jackie's bought the whole block, so she's getting ready to create a village.
She's done with Tehran.
She's done. Okay, so she's in it.
It's got
you all consult.
You don't think she? You already know.
No, this is monumental. There's only like about you can name the other nationally. You can name the theaters that own their own spaces. You know, there's one in Memphis. There's one in Sarasota, Florida. There's one in Houston.
What about New York?
There's one in New York. You know, but one that own their space.
Conversations, drop the knowledge that's for real. Indigo Studio.
How dependable is your power? As dependable as 2 a.m. wake-up calls. Grandpa showing up an hour early. And perfect timing. Because you can count on ComEd to keep the lights on and keep you informed. So your electric service is as dependable as sleepless nights.
In all of Chicago, there's no place like Wicked.
So if you care to find me, look to the western sky.
Don't miss your chance to defy gravity at the Nederlander Theater from September 28th through December 4th. NBC Nightly News calls it the most successful Broadway show ever. Visit BroadwayInChicago.com to get Wicked.
Our goal is to see you become effective leaders
To support your passions
and help your community. So whether you're pursuing an undergraduate degree or transferring from another school, our goal
is to see you accomplish yours.
cozy conversations, dropping knowledge that's for real.
So in Chicago, 250 live theaters, fewer than 5% are located on the South Side. None are driven by Black leadership. So you all are getting ready to change that.
That's right.
It's
You're getting ready to
time.
bring some real change. Who's the audience? Who are you looking for? Who's the audience?
I would say, everybody. I think, but more importantly, I'm going to go back. I think that because we are in Bronzeville, it is the community. Like you said, it is, like you was talking about, it's from 43rd all the way down through 75th. It's everyone on the South Side, because let's just be honest, the mecca of theater and performance has been the North Side for so long. And yet the constituents of the South Side have always had to travel to the North Side. And so now we want to change that. They should be able to get state-of-the-art theater, state-of-the-art media, everything where they live. So that's our primary. Those are the people, like you said, ETA, you warmed my heart, because community theater, when I got my degree, my master's degree from UCLA, and I came back to Chicago as a comedian. A lot of people don't know that. I was a comedian. And ETA, Abena,
Yeah.
talked to my grandmother.
Abena Jones Brown,
the
founder
of ETA, talked to my grandmother, and my grandmother said, well, I don't know what to do. She said, well, bring her over here. And just, and that is where I got my start. That community, I learned like he said, I learned the craft.
It's also where Jennifer Hudson,
exactly,
scared to go to Hollywood for that audition, scared to death, and went to ETA intensive course, and the rest is absolute history.
Exactly. So that's the audience, but more importantly, there's such a divide between, the North Side and the South Side in this city. And one of the things that I'm hoping that this is going to do is to get rid of that divide.
So, is it, you want to cross over, is it community theater, Black theater, or is it community theater, Chicago theater?
I would say community theater, Chicago theater. Because that's the one thing about Chicago which brought me back. I was in Hollywood, and Chicago has something that is so unique that I've never seen anywhere else.
What is it?
It is the sense of family. It is the camaraderie. It is the fact that I can get to Chuck. I can get to Jackie. I can get to Tyrone. In other places I've gone, that's not there.
Chicago is a community, basically.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
It started off as a community. And one of the things I mentioned when I accept my award on Monday, that community feeling is starting to slip away. And I want to bring it back. It should be, it works best for us here in the city when we're a community, because we can relate to one another as individuals, individual artists, period, without any kind of hierarchy. It's very important that we maintain what we have, our community, our sense of community, and that's always starts by keeping in touch with each other and talking to one another.
It's important for us too as the next generation, because we're like, oh, if this is a problem that's already been fought, we need to know that, right? If I'm pushing the needle forward, right, I don't want to take steps backwards. So let me know what the truth is. And so that dialogue that we're talking about, it's all the time.
Here's something I want to ask all of you. One of the pet peeves, my uncle was Johnny Hartman, and lived here. Dinah Washington, it's a whole generation, Eddie Harris, a whole generation of people who came out of DuSable High School as professional performers. All of them had to leave Chicago. They had to go to New York in order to make their living. Do you think that your theater companies will keep people in Chicago where they can live, make their living, start their families, and stay rooted here? Do you think that can change?
There is no doubt in my mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's happening.
There's no doubt.
It's that
change is coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
New York actors, come here. They know this is the real town where your chops on stage, in film, I think that's changed in the last couple of years because of the film access now that we have. We can make a living as an
you
artist.
can make a living. You don't have to leave the city anymore.
You don't have to leave.
No.
You can
No.
stay here.
You can
And
stay
new
right
television
here.
studio opening up in South Shore. Regal Mall Studios is going to be opening up.
And
so.
Center Space.
Center Space
is
already going.
here.
So I can stay home.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I
that's the
promise
goal.
you.
It's a fact, and that again, that was part of my what I had to say the other night. That we don't have to leave the city anymore.
You can stay here.
We can stay here. Make
We
a
can
living right
engage
here.
here.
Right.
Make our living here.
Yeah, you
That's
can
right.
you can do theater. You can do television. You can do movies. It's all happening right here in Chicago.
Right here in Chicago,
In
it's
Chicago.
happening, and we got a renaissance, and it's coming, and
To the
it's
south
happening
side.
in
And it's not
South Side.
Where else is
Where else can you go?
going to happen?
And not only
The
that, but
prettiest
I mean,
city,
even
the
the young
number one
people,
city.
you know, because I
Where
know
you
me
going?
coming up as a kid, it was important that when I went outside, in my neighborhood, I'm not talking about going somewhere else, in my neighborhood, that I saw somebody who looked like me, that was doing something. It's going to be important to these people in these neighborhoods when they leave and they know that they have a state-of-the-art theater. They just went to go see Harry Lennox. They just went to go see Regina King. They just went to go see Lawrence Fishburne down the street, right? There's something there that there's a pride that begins to spread and happen.
Discovery.
Yes.
There's exploration.
And their imagination is not being stifled.
Right.
They're not being told they can't
And
have.
you think so much better about your own neighborhood.
About your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You walk with a, listen, I'm telling you, you walk with a different sense of swag. Stephanie Mills, I met her. My mama took me to see The Wiz downtown for my birthday. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just knew that where I was living as a child, it wasn't what I wanted, but I felt like I had no choice. I felt like that was all I had.
That's what I'm talking about. A choice.
A
is
choice.
being-
And
is
I
being
met
given,
them,
right?
and Ted Ross, Stephanie Mills, the cast came into the diner across the street. And I'm bold. I walked straight up to him.
No, you're not.
Yes, I did. My grandma said, "What?" I went straight up to him.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, "Excuse me." And Stephanie said, "Yes." And I said, "Y'all do this all the time?
Every night.
Y'all do this. This is a job." And they said, "Yes." And I said, "And you make money?" And she said, "Yes." And I
was
said,
so
"And I can do this." She said, "Yes." I said, "What do I have to do?" She said, "You need to go to school." She gave me a whole thing. They signed my play. That is something.
That's it.
That nugget, that light.
That was your stimulation.
That's it. It's all. That's all. That is all I need. In any community, that sense of pride, of we are a strong Black people. We come from royalty. We are not less than. When you have that pride about yourself, it changes.
Thank you so much for being with me. Congratulations on your work. And Chuck, wow, kudos, congratulations. Keep on keeping on.
going.
And
Still
we'll be
going.
able
Bang,
to
bang on the drum.
do theater in Chicago. Thank you for watching Indigo Studio. This has been a lively, hot conversation. Theater coming your way.
Sit back and relax, educate and inform. Cozy conversations, dropping knowledge that's for real. Indigo Studio, always in the know. With Hermine Hartman, you'll be enlightened. Up and up